Hi, everyone. Hi. Welcome to the Bureau of General Services Queer Division. My name is Ella. I'm the events manager here at the Bureau and also at Hive Mind Books in Bushwick. I'll get into this a little bit later, but in case you don't know, Hive Mind is taking over. Welcome to the Bureau of General Services. Oh! It's the live stream. That would have. Okay, let's try that again. I'll get into this in a second, but for those of you who don't know, Hive Mind Books is taking over operations at the Bureau. Very exciting. Donnie and Greg, the owners of the Bureau, are moving out to Portland to explore the West Coast, but we're keeping things alive here. Before we begin, we want to acknowledge that the Bureau, as a part of the LGBT Center, exists in Manhattan, one of the 5 boroughs, and as such, is on the ancestral and unceded lands of the Lenape-Hoking people. And also we want to acknowledge that, specifically that the struggle for a free and sovereign Palestine is a part of the queer, interconnected struggle for liberation across the world. With that being said, I don't have very much more to say. I do want to reiterate again, as part of this acquisition, Hive Mind has been raising funds to keep the Bureau alive. For 13 years, this bookstore has been run on volunteer labor, which is amazing and a testament to our community. But part of our goal in taking over the space is to start compensating people for their labor with money, and so we're raising funds to do that and transition to a paid model. You can find info about that fundraiser, which remains open, on our website, on our Instagram. There's a QR code back by the store somewhere. If you're interested, proceeds for books and fundraising stuff, all of it goes to the same place, which is keeping these 2 queer spaces alive. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce Sarah to talk about the Office Hours 2026 Spring Showcase.
Thank you so much, Ella. Thank you to Hive Mind Books. Thank you to the Bureau, Donnie and Greg. We love you forever and ever. I'm Sarah Amsala. I run Office Hours Poetry Workshop as much as you can run a community organized, sick organization. Everybody pitches in, it's amazing. So we are a group of writers who prioritizes space for LGBTQ, POC, and femme-identified people. Because we need more places in the world to exist and to write poems. So our traditional format is we do not read the bios, where we're like, oh, this person won 10 Pulitzer Prizes. We like to shake things up. So tonight, we are reading completely fictionalized bios. They're fake, 100%. I will announce who's on deck, and then I will announce who's up next. Heather Simon is going to kick off the event. Dina is up next. Heather Simon is a typo. Please welcome Heather.
Oh gosh, yeah. Is this good? Oh gosh.
You can sit if you like. That's comfortable.
No, it's cool. I never know how to speak into mics. Is this normal? Enough. Okay, hi. Okay, hi. So we're talking. This is my first time doing Office Hours, so thank you. And the first thing I'm going to share, because this workshop got me really comfortable, or got me more comfortable sharing things off the cuff. This first thing is something I wrote this week, so it's very rough, and then I'll share something that I wrote in a workshop and adjusted with everyone's wonderful feedback. So, okay. Cool. Right. To dive used to mean something else. 1. To take meaning, lucear, to stay. If you provide care for a friend or loved one, are you, in the words I take from Isaiah's mouth, undetectable? Plural dives, 2 positive vibes only, the act or an insistence of riding the F train, such as A1, a plunge into, I wish I were writing with better news, executed in a prescribed manner. 2, a steep descent in fertility rates. at greater than the maximum speed of horizontal light. Do you really want AI to teach our children to be our boss? Be one, A, submerging from a high of 16,866 students in 2019 to 12,404 this past fall. 2, a robot dog guarding computers to dive, akin to Old English dippin' to dip before the 12th century intransitive, meaning in 2025, college enrollment dove by 24%, yet in 2026, class sizes increased by 25. The writing is in the email on the advertisement, tattooed in Sharpie across Isaiah's neck. According to an analysis of delve versus dig versus dive, spades tend to have a sharpened triangular edge designed for cutting. Whereas to cast oneself headfirst into water, first, one must get to the station, ascend the stairs, curtail the turnstile, more stairs, a bus. Meanwhile, the broad-bottom tools, or meanwhile, shovels are broad-bottom tools for moving loose materials. 3, decline, join the fight to fix your pension, to prevent erosion. The investment portfolio is hidden behind a paywall. The Zoom chat has been disabled. Your questions visible to admin only. Your video camera off. Your ocean, a metaphor reserved for poems. It's better this way. It's better for plovers if you let them nest without the allure of chips and beer. Data shows the college enrollment cliff is affecting regions like Queens more than others. Shells cracking beneath your feet. The only sure investments, prisons, weapons, AI. Meanwhile, my dad can't do multi-factor authentication to access his banking app with a Mexican phone number. Remember, sand travels from one continent to another. That this war is, in an effort to keep the ship, which yes is a metaphor for livelihood, from sinking. Smile, nod, be grateful for today. You'll be paid to stand here. The poem for action. All right, my last. All right, this some of you are familiar with. In light of never becoming a mother, I will push my luck. But if it's true, and I believe it is, that you will never know sacrifice unless carve me open without an epidural like my own. Scatter my sketchbooks in place of charred bone, for my body will have already, or was it never, have given. I never asked my mom, she never told me if she wanted me to be a mother. Maybe we knew she wouldn't get to see. I've lost the ability to intuit her response. I forget what it was she used to say I'd feel. Just that she'd say, when I'm dead, you will. But there is no reason to hash it out here and now. Without having become a mother, who am I to argue with one? After my mom, both my second moms died in quick succession. As terrible and statistically improbable as it might be, my therapist assured me that it will alleviate some of the burden of caretaking when I'm old. Has Western medicine determined it unnecessary to care for ghosts, I argue, in an effort to suppress my urge to ask, but who will care for me? Does writing a fear down negate the fear? An old adage goes something like, name your monsters and you'll be friends. But I have yet to greet my mom when her body, somehow sun-kissed immortal, casts itself into my dream. Who did they want me to be when I wheezed into the gloved palm of the doctor? I was told the hole in my heart closed effortlessly, that I must have loved my time in the womb, given my affinity for water.
Thank you so much, Heather. On deck is Jay. Up next is Dina Abu Hadi. Dina is a cool, chill guy. Absolutely. Please welcome Dina.
I thought that was funny. I very much overthought it on the train here. Wine tasting that someone else on Hinge paid for. I have 3 poems. We'll see how many I get through. But they're all ones I shared at some point in office hours, maybe like a couple semesters ago, but hopefully most are familiar. This first one is called Melt Water, A Haunting of the Flood. There's ambiguity between where I end and you begin. Once frozen and far from you, I waited to speak. Now I carry your slicked oil, let your shame cast a sheen on you against your own forgetting. You thought I was pure, I never have been. The first chemicals on this earth would have killed you, then you all made poisons and hells of your very own. Now that I have arrived at your door, you want to see your reflection in me. But I will not be still. You be still. What do you look like in your pain? May you find an answer with the trees older than every nation state. Only some states take rivers for their borders. Others attempt to carve stakes out of a porous ocean. How futile. There is ambiguity between where I begin and you end. I did not need to invent a microscope to know this. You did not need rumination to know truth and what is needed from you. I read this poem on Mother's Day, which was a week ago when I was at a residency in rural Oregon. I think it was the only person who wrote a poem about mothers. So happy Mother's Day, everyone. This is called Road Trips and Hurricanes. My mother is a Pisces storm, the moon inside of me. My father is the Pacific Ocean, his name an abbreviation of God. I could swell with rage over time, like him too could swallow cities with my warmth in all my slow boiling. My mother absorbs the storm as it breaks over Atlanta. She finds shelter in a hospital with the lights still on. This hurricane lasts for 6 months. Sometimes she'll wander out into the cold wind without anything in her pocket the state would recognize as sanity. She will write down my number as her own, at motels, at ERs. People will call to yell at me for all my irresponsible decisions. Every flood carrying ghosts of the grays it washes away. Helene is a good Southern name, like Irene, like Shirley. She severs my mother from the world, a different place than reality. She turns Asheville into a cash economy, renders the plastic cards issued by the state's pockets as meaningless. God buries the mountains with water. The state sends the national cops with machine guns to stand in parking lots, guarding water for their own drinking. Another familiar disaster. Irma, 2017. September 23rd. I started to write. With words, I tried to force a tempest into 2 dimensions. My life, a cutting taking root after her world-ending flood. I wanted to write poems about science, but a storm interrupted and our bodies mirrored the sea. Wait, no. Thank you, though. Thank you so much. September 19th. She's made it north. Storm seeps inland. A front door left open. Last photos of my child self looking back at me and our dead, swallowed before another future could arrive. September 11th. I plead with her teenage logic not to hang up. I try to not compare my mother to a storm, but she said it herself. This is such a stressful time. I think I'm going to write a book. September 10th. Mother drops pens at gas stations out of gas in motel lobbies. We call pawn shops off evacuation routes just in case. She has 2 phones, neither work. September 7th. She wants to head north to Atlanta, but sways like an east-west-east pendulum at the Florida state line. Says traffic is unreal for a Thursday. Let her swing out in the wind for a while. September 6th. Mom's gone missing. Her brother says she's gone mad, called the cops on her after she calls the cops on him. She drives off, tag is still in my name. Do that, thank you.
All right, thank you to our amazing readers so far. Ashley is on deck. Jay is up next. Jay Freeborn was missing, declared dead in 1848, attempting to chart a course through the Northwest Passage. Please welcome Jay via Zoom, and I will now unmute them.
All right, Jay, you should be live.
Cool. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Sound great.
Thank you, folks, for being here. Thank you to Office Hours in general. Thank you, Sarah. The Greenland shark reaches sexual maturity. What becomes an age among you is not of interest to me. My child lives inside me, same as yours. I carry his heart by mine, as you do, and carrying him longer than many of you live. In the silence, I am nearly blind, have given my eyes for feed. I smell the cold current passing and the warm, the eddies turning, shifting, the ice around me which splits, then passes too. In the silence, I grow large. I become my mother. I will die, far from the weight of air. Swigdagus, which is Old English for silent days, and is also what sometimes is referred to as Good Friday in the Christian calendar. Red-winged blackbird at dawn, at dusk, March peepers all the time. Dog, pale as a budding pumpkin, where she isn't caked in mud, sighing at the end of the porch. Upstairs, the intermittent signs of private conversation. Closed door, pacing, time. Somewhere, a youngish man is dying. His father is making calls. Somewhere, the whole tableau already happened, or will happen soon enough. The kitchen clock winds down. Stiff wind cracks a branch, a shop sign, a sail, train horn, static hum, seeping from the wires strung along the road. Men unspool from each other, from their flesh, their own blood. March peepers all the time. This one is called Terror and Counter-Terror. This is the vision. This is the situation. These are the stakes. This is the lowdown, the loving hold, the two black eyes, and a few broken ribs. The riparian sink, and the municipal bronze half sunk, now in flowers. The captive audience, the designer protein bar class action lawsuit, and the local superfund coming this summer to a backyard near you. In the winter of our mid-content, I was constantly being mogged by sigmas on the train. I was forever scrabbling for toe holds in the day spa of Mattering. Did I do better then to fix my gaze on what lay before me, cheek drawn down and grim, or should I have been ready for the call and the answer, the need and the want, the quiet from the neighbors never quiet before, for the flash at the window, the ring of the bell, the hollow echo, the sound through the woodwork, which will only be sounding the once.
Wow.
Last two. Kingdoms of dubious chance. The kingdom of heaven on earth, the kingdom of God's inimitable plan, the kingdom of orthodoxy, the kingdom of Davidic kingdom of Israel Davidian branch sect, the kingdom of heaven on earth specific CF appendices A through F, the kingdom of Zion, the kingdom of New Jerusalem, the United White Global Ethno-State, the Kingdom of American Redoubt Pacific Northwest, the Kingdom of the Organization, the Kingdom of the National Socialist Order, the Kingdom of Elohim City Incorporated, Oklahoma, the Kingdom of Anabaptists, Inspirationalist, the Kingdom of Anabaptists, Rationalist, the Kingdom of the Brotherhood of the Cooperative Commonwealth, the Kingdom of the Socialist Community of Modern Times, Brentwood, New York, the Kingdom of Panasocracy, Susquehanna River Approximate, the Kingdom of the Land of Might Have Been, the Kingdom of Kush, the Kingdom of Whitwara, the Kingdom of Cantwara, the Kingdom of Thomas Hardy's Wessex, the Kingdom of Free Fens, the Kingdom of Mesoramenia, the Kingdom of Golden Ambrosia, the Kingdom of Great Unity, the Kingdom of Great Peace, the Kingdom of Tumblr, the Kingdom of LinkedIn, the Kingdom of X, the Everything app, formerly known as Twitter, the Kingdom of Grindr, the Kingdom of Field, the Kingdom of Prince, Minneapolis, Minnesota, the Kingdom of Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, the Kingdom of Clean Living, the Kingdom of Heterotopia, the Kingdom of Public Restrooms, the Kingdom of Homosexual Baggage, the Kingdom of Gay Sex, Anarcho-Liberationist, the Kingdom of Gay Sex, Normie, the Kingdom of Wisdom, Foresight, and Generosity, the Kingdom of Winky, Blinky, and Nod, the Kingdom of the Shakers, the Kingdom of the Pacifists, the Kingdom of the Early Risers, the Kingdom of Adult Children who pick up the phone/call back, the Kingdom of CBT, the Kingdom of DBT, the Kingdom of Multisystemic Therapy, the Kingdom of Metric System, the Kingdom of Modern Cladistics, the Kingdom of using 5 biological kingdoms, Animalia, Plantia, Fungi, Protistia, Monaria, the Kingdom of United and Undifferentiated Archaebacteria and Euchabacteria, the Kingdom of the Common Ancestor, the Kingdom of the Field Mouse, the Kingdom of the Dark-Eyed Junco, the Kingdom of the Snail. Thanks for sitting through that one. Last one. Dead Woodcock, 38th Street between 2nd and 3rd. Far from where I was yesterday, low and slow, I arrive, follow a watermouth, a waking canyon of light, heat, and some sucker, green, from where I was, arrive now, nowhere, left to be. I recall the taste of strawberries.
All right, thank you so much, Jay. Please never change. On deck, we have Holly, and coming up next, we have Ashley. Ashley Harris is the first alchemist who turned trash to sustainable food. The government is still trying to find her. Please, we won't, but don't disclose her location. Please welcome Ashley.
Thank you everyone. Thank you office hours, peeps and family, and thank you Sarah. I'm gonna start with me in anger be dancing so hard. Me in anger be dancing so hard all morning and night. It likes the way I beat my teeth together, canine to canine. We be screaming like a slaughterhouse. No, I don't want to kill myself. No, I do not have thoughts of self-harm. No, I haven't bit the skin around my thumbnail. Yes, I still enjoy to do things like banshees sirening like an alarm, and I stay irritable. It's my song. The world stay talking noise while I try to read one word. Can they please shut up so I can read just one thing? My spine so taut like a tense bow, and when it snap, it's metal against granite, the most mind-melting melody. I wasn't there, but I saw her. My great-great-grandma stomping her feet against a good white wall, adding more salts and a little bit of sawdust to make that gritty, dirty rice. I see it. A closed door trying to hold bloody hymns under its tongue. If I can't do nothing else, I'ma let my mouth become historical. let it destroy something they hold precious. Thank you. The next one. Oh, okay. The next one is about spring. 'Tis the season to find outdoor insects inside, petals and fallen pine needles in your curly coiled afro. 3 turtles not fighting over land, but cuddling on a stone. It is the time to jog from hostile wasps. Bees seek nectar and they seek pain. The first time I was stung, I swallowed the bitter aftertaste of spring. There she was, with her best hot ironed wig. Sorry. There she was, with her best hot ironed wig in a flower dress set, hopping over the sliding door line like a ship and floating on to the other side. And there it was, a still hornet, stamped to the ground with wet death. And there I was, head of Bobos, half the height of where no one returns. Come here now. I don't have time for this foolishness. You too big for this now. You crying over a dead bug. I sidled slowly over the sliding door in the only grocery store of our world, and the hornet heard the presence of its only enemy, rose from its sticky floor grave and put its last fight in me. I howled, spring brings transition. Oh, hush that crying. I was grown enough now for Granny to rub half a grape on its raised presence on my palm, for all rises in this season. Okay. The next one I'm gonna read 2 more, I think. Okay. Coward. White hairs shroud his memory. He forgot his age. He is getting ready to show up to a high school graduation of one of his many human lives after 18 years of silence. He is so proud of himself, knuckles sticky like a toddler, smoothing his stained muscle shirt down to the gym shorts. Green eyes and pale brown skin makes every look formal, he thought. He has been gone for so long that his appearance will be a blessing. Everywhere he goes, he makes myths of a daughter he's never spoken to or seen. She's smart, she gets that from me. He takes cash only so the police can't run his social security. He is on the run from college, from medical school, from jail bars, when he doesn't pay child support for the millionth time. He is the baby in his family forever. His daughter understands the hole that he is, that it is madness to scream into nothing. He threw away photos of a tiny human with his forehead. She is truly pious, praise her, for she has my face and has had faith in the Lord who never shows his face, he thinks. Amen. Raising his lightly haired calf about the motorcycle that took his leg, he shows up to congratulate himself. And all her family is happy he is here, happy she begged to the altar for her maker. He reaches in his pockets to return what he took away, a hug. The all-seeing eyes of her mother mortalizes him for a minute. She makes my daughter look half wraith. He stares down too long at her fury and remembers the violent sound of metal against glass, her spinous processes crushed by his heavy pubic symphysis, a crypt on dirt, how she screamed stop like a corpse, stuck in between the in-between. He doesn't want to stay in touch after this. He likes the idea of being God, omniscient, everywhere and gone. They will pray for his presence again, he thought. Okay, I have one more. Thank you guys for listening is short. Happy Earth Day. There was a large oil spill in the Persian Gulf that will have catastrophic consequences in the future because of a bored old white narcissist. I learned from ChatGTP that moths fly around erratically, chasing light until it dies. Is that our planet? That question cost a child clean water in the Midwest. Facts aren't all fake. We have to face the melting of the polar ice caps. The government killed Martin Luther King Jr., then made him a holiday. They are doing the same to you. Happy birthday, Earth. Thank you.
All right, I feel like the Wi-Fi dropped out for a second just because you were like burning down the world in a beautiful way. On deck is Abba. Next up we have Holly Mitchell. Holly Mitchell is a prominent Texas musician. I'm sure they would love to sing for you. Please welcome Holly.
I opened a book and picked the phrase. I'm going to read from a work in progress that is also my most changed piece from this last semester. And it started as a prose poem, and I think it is now a sort of lyric narrative essay. Next door. I could tell my neighbor liked me because of her eyes and the length of her pauses. Mostly she fidgeted with the lock on her door or glanced in the continuous mirror above the bathroom sinks. At first, I called my long-distance boyfriend every night. The laptop's aquatic dial tone rang to the meter of "here we go, this again." The routine did not animate my fidelity. When I told him I thought I would cheat on you, I didn't mean with her or anyone in particular. Once she stopped on the staircase landing and actually said, "Wow," staring up at my legs. I liked knowing. I liked that I made her nervous. Her attention was not disguised in the way I'd learned, as social inquiry, but openly, helplessly superficial. Yet it frightened me that I might reveal myself to others as she appeared, brightly lit. I realized I had been here on this end of wanting before. So many times my loneliness must have been a freshman plant I kept alive, or perhaps I was not comfortable with this direction of desire. When I broke up with my boyfriend, he asked, "Is there someone else?" "No," I said, and of how he meant the question, this was true. I walked down to the lake at night, the phone warm in my hand. There were eels below the dark patina of the surface. Though I couldn't see them, they were awake and feasting on stonefly. Some of my friends studied the eels, how they survived, using steel baskets to trap them, and beakers to sample the water. There was no one. In another sense, there were more others than words, and the creeping admission it was not okay the way it was. By day, I visited the upper lake, crunching leaves with each step of my boots. I paused often, looking for the great blue heron, or some creature I hadn't seen before. Yet I was most surprised by the wild ducks. They were braver than the domestic mallards on my family's farm, no matter how slowly we fed them, or how we kept the hatchlings inside. They would grow up and run away honking. But the mallards here too, and but these mallards too, maybe a few northern pintail, would hold their ground or float mere feet away, blinking back. My neighbor was almost a stranger. I knew her first name and that her major was somewhere in the sciences, that she was a year below and had journeyed further than I to be here in New England. We shared a hollow old wall of the dormitory and a view of the green, and my side a double helix of photos taped to the plaster. She lived in the triple next door, surrounded by giggling roommates. Through the wall, I could hear them laugh, though a little noise came from my room. Me singing along to Look at Miss Ohio, a vibrator sold as quiet. When I heard them, I froze. I paused, and I made up my mind.
Yes, more poetry. Shakima is up next. Abba Belgrave died twice before she was 12 and has no particular opinion on the merits of the hereafter. She lives in the ether. So kind of you to come tonight. Somewhere between Florida and hell, if those are two separate places. Please welcome Abba.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you to Office Hours. It's been such a lovely community for so many years. And I really cherish time with you guys. I'm going to read 5 poems. I'm going to try and speak slowly because I get really nervous and the accent comes out and no one can understand me. First poem, Here at the End of All Things. July 2018, Manhattan. I found out I had cancer during cancer season. Like any witch, I believe in irony, symmetry, curses without cause. Greenwood Cemetery, May 2020. Grass shivers in the wind, the long green wave of it, while I climb the hill of graves and cannot name a single bird. Though one chirps, curious, breast orange bright perched on a stone while I sigh with the ease of this moment. When sirens peel away to birdsong, susurration, the inhuman creep of near silence, while I pick my feet carefully between rows and rows, crooked, white as bones and dirt, I am and will become. Perhaps the delay is important, somewhat. My own body falling into the dancing lawn, my fingers tracing the white, bright scar of my own breast. I look to the sky, feel the brush whisper twist, long leaves touching my lips. I breathe and breathe, each soft exhale unearned. This is not a nature poem. My heart beats, the obvious drum, obnoxious and precious, and one hand on my sternum, I listen, and then I can't. Greenwood. I'm obsessed with this fucking cemetery. Greenwood, September 2023. And the squirrels going mad in the cemetery, darting, burrowing, one wide-eyed rodent perched on gravestone, worrying a nut to nothing. As the air goes on being cool and perfumed, small squashed fruit, dirt pebble path, sweet with demise. But can you write about joy, Abba? My feet stumbling up into what light? Lost London plane trees and sweet gums, mushroom heads, white and still soaked grass from the flood. Breathing is hard. And the hilltop littered stones and silence. Can I write about joy? Can I stand in what's left of the sun and smile? 42, Greenwood Cemetery, Easter Sunday. And I am walking through the onslaught, rain and mourners leaving palm frond crosses on the graves of their loved ones. My shoes soaked through, each budding bush and tree I knew as spindle and thorn all winter growing again. While I stumble up, mud-slick past, the downpour drowning out all sound, though I startle, a starling, as it wings from one branch to another, its small body dropping to a tall pine, me watching from beneath it. I'm not crying. I could be, but it's the rain, the wind, the day. Last poem. Thank you, guys. I'm so morbid. Here at the end of all things. Here at the end of all things. Some days I can't help thinking we are the lucky ones, living and dying in this after, instead of cowering until and into obliteration. You say again, always, I'm crazy. And I ask again if you could pull the trigger on that gun with all these tired witnesses, leave me to all the sand and petrified ash. And I don't mean lucky the way you always take it, bitter and caustic, with years of infighting. I left this carcass in the only home you'd ever known. But we got to see the world reborn, the animals skittish and everywhere, our failures scattered before us, impossible to escape, even if we don't understand. Stupid to worry about tomorrow, but you do it anyway. Your shoulders blister with the sun, or the weight of all your improbables. I think, sometimes, I could love you again, like this. But this is the trap. You sluiced us. You happy enough to have me, predictable, sweet, and then. Thank you, guys.
Amazing. I love the screams of ghouls in the hall right before you read that poem. It's great. In case Zoom didn't pick that up. All right, James is on deck. Shakima Smalls is a used car salesman from Wisconsin who studied extraterrestrial poetics at a mystery school in a remote region of Taiwan. Please welcome Shakima.
Hello, everyone. It's good to see everyone's faces. I'm just going to read 2 poems tonight. I have loved listening to all the poems thus far, as always. So thank you for your time in advance. Let me scroll down here. Because of course, everything would freeze when it's time to read, right? Which is why I mean, you're thinking like this is a computer, but imagine entrusting our existence to AI. Let me try it this way instead. The first poem is called Tender. 1997, Brooklyn. Child chef Savant will host tonight's dinner on the fire escape. Grenade-shaped juice barrels, beef patty entree, and freezy pops for dessert. Pink rubber sandal to dirty white sneaker pipeline. Favorite color, yellow. Tobacco-oiled walls, shoe nails. The butt of a cigarette leaves black marks on my brother's bottom lip as he and his boys pour liquor beneath honey locust trees. Like them, Bushwick slouches, freed of leaves, yet heavy in winter clothes. The boys sag as elders sneer. If I were full of grief, I would want to be naked too. Wrens clatter with eyes for metal detectors. Pennies litter the neighborhood, heads up and on their backs. 1999, Carolina. I split my leg on the spine of a century plant, my wound hand-tied in aster. It steeps as wind-traveled tears leave my mouth. I dip a brush into the salt water and press the carmine liquid into my face, my first blush. I lay in open sky hot enough to set Marcel irons on the roof and press my edges. Comb covered in beef tallow, the quiet sizzle of parting. My prostration, bells of gold chains around my wrists, Geechee Baptist and capitalist fits, strung up sneakers, undead men moving rocks from their graves. My nickname belly button pressed into grimace, Gordita. And this next poem is a poem that I wrote in one workshop and I shared in office hours this semester. It's called Promises, and it's after 2 poets, Jeffrey Daniel and Raymond Antrobus. Shakima Fisher was born between heat and crystal. That's how she knows her mother loves her. She cracks eggs into holes at each corner of her yard, 2 acres of land and a trailer, its roof being held up by her wits alone. Her doctor provides yearly bills of health. Her ass is striped. She is a tiger. Collectors have found her new number, clutter her voicemail. Nothing is wrong, but her potassium is probably low. Her favorite fruits are not apples. She will stop dancing if you perceive her. She is often asked if she is happy. She is aspirational. She has to wash the dishes, clean the fridge, wishes she were her own man, she would take the trash out. She is a devoted homemaker. Her imaginary friends had accents until she left her borough of origin. She does not cancel subscriptions on time. She demands refunds. She has promised herself a good life. She does not break her promises. Her calls may be monitored or recorded for quality assurance.
I love it. We have some funny people in the house. So many funny people in office hours. All right, on deck, Suzanne. James Fujinami Moore is up next. James believes the dangers of scurvy are vastly overrated. Please welcome James.
Hello. Yeah, I'm just gonna read one poem, but I wrote it in office hours. And yeah. It's a long poem. It is 88 single line stanzas. So yeah. I don't know what to say. Notes on the new year. 1. It is the new year as we count it. 2. The year of the fire horse. 3. They say it is the year of fury, revolution, change. 4. They say a woman is killed by a federal agent today. 5. These days I am learning how to look at things. 6. Man with a vest under his shirt. 7. Bulge of a walkie-talkie, or maybe it's a gun. 8. Size of an apple. 9. Sometimes I stand in parking lots and look at cars. 10. There's a specific kind of car if you know how to look. 11. Heavy tinted, American made, unless it's a bounty hunter. 12. 2 men, unless it's a scout. 13. Of course they say tactics are always changing. 14. They say they are making a transition to a military mindset. 15. This year there's fire and last year there was fire. 16. My phone gnawing at every alert. 17. They say there is a point of no return and we have passed it. 18. Size of an avocado. 19. They say so much will not return. 20. The golden toad that lived in the cloud forests. 21. The pinta giant tortoises who could live 100 years. 22. Extinction is an exercise in probability. 23. How likely is it that, having seen none, we believe we will never see again? 24. They say after 1 year, the lone certainty is uncertainty. 25. To distract myself, I am learning how to make dovetails. 26. To distract myself, I am making a small box. 27. Hand-tooled, cherry wood, white oak, and pine. 28. Size of a pear. 29. I am not good at woodworking. 30. I am not good at my uncertainty. 31. For instance, it took me a long time to be ready to be a father. 32. The last of the species is of course called an endling. 33. They say the endling of the Vietnamese rhinoceros was shot by a poacher in 2010. 34. They say U.S. agents firing 10 shots kill man. 35. There is video of the last Vietnamese rhinoceros with their calves. 36. There is a video of the woman who is shot and the man. 37. In the video of the woman, she is smiling with her wife just before. 38, size of a sweet potato. 39, in the video of the man, he's falling while holding a woman. 40, now they are everywhere. 41, the agents. 42, the woman, the man. 43, they say in the year of the fire horse, it is an excellent time to rework systems that feel constrictive or outdated. 44, they say a crackdown sinks children into lives of fear. 45, they say there are 60-year cycles to the zodiac. 46, I'm trying to tell you what we did to paint your room. 47, I'm trying to tell you how it feels. 48, size of a pomegranate. 49, we pick cloud forests for your nursery. 50, we bring saline solution to wash out pepper spray. 51, I think again and again about whether or not to buy a gun. 52, the last year of the fire horse began the Cultural Revolution. 53, this week you began to kick. 54, they say attack on rules in climate crisis is near, quote, victory. 55, when a species is rediscovered after being thought extinct, it is called a Lazarus taxon. 56, riverine rabbits, red-crested tree rats. 57, black wallaroo. 58, size of a banana. 59, in the last year of the fire horse, the southern white rhinoceros was thought extinct. 60, this year, the monarch butterflies have returned. 61, I was so worried that the world would end. 62, now I worry it won't stop ending. 63, in fire, in fury, and in plagues. 64, they say vaccine makers curb research and shed jobs. 65, they say there are outbreaks, more and more. 66, we pull on masks to dodge the ID cameras. 67, I meet a man in a park by a burner phone. 68, size of a mango. 69, at the protest in front of a car, I watch the officer raise and lower his riot gun. 70, shouting some order, my wife yelling back. 71, the white of his eyes, the mouth of the gun. 72, this was before you, when we were reckless with our bodies. 73, this moment, before someone throws a water bottle, before it all falls apart. 74, they say the birth rate falls as more wait to be parents. 75, the short-term impacts of tear gas are coughing, difficulty breathing, severe irritation to the eyes and skin. 76, the long-term effects are not well known. 77, they say in the year of the fire horse you trust your intuition. 78, size of a papaya. 79, they say in the year of the fire horse to not force stability where it no longer exists. 80, in my car there are walkie-talkies, megaphones, black hoodies, bright vests. 81, in my wife you are kicking so much. 82, they say you are beginning to hear. 83, they say you have translucent skin. 84, they say today the US strikes Iran. 85, they say there are 18,000 living southern white rhinoceroses. 86, it is the year of the fire horse and you are kicking. 87, kick, kick. 88, size of a grapefruit, kick. Thank you.
All right, I'm just gonna start a GoFundMe to live stream Jane. They'll keep shutting it down, we'll keep popping back up. That's what we need right now for the end times. All right, Emily is on deck. Suzanne Hyland is best known for her performance as God. Please welcome Suzanne.
Zalanis Morissette. the realm of fabricated bios. All right, I'm gonna read one poem that's long enough. That also heavily features Greenwood Cemetery. It's called I Was Living in Time. An obsession with perfumed silks and indoor flowers might be an antidote for this era, but even then it would seem only the rich get to have pleasant physical lives. All the rest of us bent over our phones in the dark veins of a folded up city, trying to ignore the too real body beside us. Thank God my high school level French got us out of that pickle on the Belgian border before the European Union, but after the European starling introduced itself to every major city in America, when I was very young and knew nothing with such articulate precision. When I traveled through that part of the world alone for the first time and ate blood sausage and had a large feeling on some or another dark street. Before I even knew the care my wife puts into our fire escape roses today, for example, how much I need something beautiful to grow. There's many little sections, so you don't have to do this every time. Thanks though. Erotic sacks of cottonwood seeds dropping scent across the sidewalks, my body doing the opposite of what I want until I adorn it with permanent birds, rain collapsing other sounds, pronouncing each one with a lisp. Heavy-handed church bells trigger a new possible self, running, as it turns out, lightly in my ear this whole time, the entirety of my life so far, a counterbalance or a lockstep, depending on how I feel about pronouns that day. Eating together, we said we could do it. At a table up to my neck in trial size perfume, unique notes, foreign currency and forgeries, a frame of the mirror above the bar like a necklace of teeth, ancient hieroglyphics triggering specific memories of muggy afternoons watching golf with my dad. I searched my phone for gifts of a mended heart after my wife texts that our bill building manager has finally stopped breaking ours, having fixed data with millions of other city dwellers' data, giving up one self-image a day, less than this nice cocktail I feel I must tell everyone about. The bar has a website, you can see the whole menu, and there's 2 locations, one in the East Village, one up here. Chimney edge of madness, sweeping over the neighborhood. Are so many, but see none. Or maybe it was just my luck to still hear them. somewhere up in the dense. As the heat index topples last year's best, I get in a line to vote, representative of the deficit of fireflies. As the leashed dog yearns for a cool place to wait and defects from one shadow to the other, the voters leave briefly our wet plastic coffee cups on top of the noise democratically chosen for its womb-like qualities. Okay, I do have additional tools I have to keep secret. They're for analysis and the expression of grief, both of which have been banned, or have they? After all, I mourn publicly, and like others, am mostly ignored, reducing the need for outright prohibition. My desire to nap in public an increasingly frowned upon practice of late, and the gardeners clipping the hedges all look at me and I sit back up, my jacket laid out on the ground, bound to the city I share with citizens of a long gone world in which birds dripped off trees. Upon this new baseline, I search for signs of movement in the heavy foliage and find few, making the bullfrogs mating in the hot sun the life of this a life in objects, not as nostalgic as one might think. The vase I got from my dad in Taos, yes, but anonymous driftwood on the bookshelf just as dear. Without the clock, I experience the fever of forgetting while drinking, while laughing, while walking, while building imaginary cities, while painting one very specific bathtub, while biking past gridlocked cars, smelling the claustrophobic stench of rain-soaked calorie pears lining streets, which didn't even have trees prior to the 1940s. Even these huge ones here looming, darkening the pitch of the sky until the sky makes a tunnel I pedal through to the other side, or sometimes even farther. Smoking a joint against a headstone, entirely enveloped in branches, creating one single private place composed entirely of strands of public displays of life. I feel surprised that just anyone can come to this graveyard and pay nothing to hide away like a kid in a fort inside a tree that reaches all the way down to the dirt. Starlings mechanizing the leaves above our heads, me and the dead guys. Otherwise, a total and splendid silence in this field of monuments that rival the stone heads of Olmec ball players, even my sketch of a taxidermied raccoon. All arguments for creation, at least in the sense of making a moment out of pure time. Thanks.
All right, on up deck. Emily Hockaday is next. Emily is a xenobiologist visiting Earth from the Alpha Centauri system. Humanity is starting to grow on her, especially those who invented ice cream. Please welcome Emily.
Thank you. It's so nice to hear all these poems and how they've evolved from workshop. I'm gonna start with a couple that actually everything I read tonight, I'm sure I workshopped at some point because I've been in office hours for so long. But the first one I'm gonna read is from last semester, so it's newer. And it's an erasure of letters that I'm doing for like a project about mental health. Dear, alcohol worked successfully, she said. She didn't see me open the door to myself. The brittle, orange-beaked cardinal longed then to tell me. Love. Dear, some people use alcohol their whole lives. She didn't see the glass of gin and tonic or me out the cab window. I almost wish it would be worse. There was no way it came back with interest. I stood by the plexiglass and longed for relief. Love. Dear, my therapist said, The time I yelled at him on the Manhattan Bridge was proof of kerosene running through my veins. Strike everything and myself. One long note drives instinct. You must not die. Love. These two are from slightly older office hours semesters, and they're part of a manuscript I'm working on that's like eco poetry and features different animals and plants and fungus. Dear animal, after kindergarten, we come home and meditate. Like mine, your body needs coaxing to become calm. Then we play in the garden. I talk to my sprouts and you dig for pill bugs. I'm gentle as I pluck crinkled leaves from stems. The ground cherries need longer to grow golden and plump, but their small flowers are becoming husks. Before I know it, I am imagining your future without me. I try to picture the movement beneath us, the wriggling of grubs and ants and worms. I can't stop the vibration of the earth or the passage of time or even my heart, which I want in the sweet spot of beating, but not beating too much. Sometimes you are so bright I have to squint. A catbird calls from the laundry ladder and I remember where I am, what I'm supposed to do. I hold your future in my fingers too tight. It is a duckling trying to wriggle away. I open my hands to free it like I meant to. Cohabitating. This one might be familiar to New York City residents. The winter that mice move in, I stop taking my chronic pain medication to see if I'm cured. It is magical thinking. One night they squeak for ungodly hours and their tiny nails scratch on our fake wood flooring. I don't want to hurt them. The lack of sleep brings back the electric ache I had grown used to being without. During the day, I need the meat of me, as if I can reach the bone or neurons, but the aching is an unwelcome room tone. One night we wake to an animal shriek, leading my husband out of mercy to drown a mouse who is stuck to the glue trap. He comes back to bed different. The small body is still in our wastebasket and the house is silent. I'm just gonna read two more from my book, Blood Music, and almost all of these were workshopped in office hours. I'm gonna read two. I was gonna read a different one, but I switched it up after I heard Jay's poem about Greenland sharks. I was like, oh, I have one too. I'm gonna read it. Beneath the ice. Even in the greatest depths of my grief, molten laughter bubbles to the surface. The baby climbs from the rocker to the couch, unhinged from sugar and pre-bedtime nerves. The look on her face, determined, psychotic, earnest. Greenland sharks, like all ectotherms, live in almost freezing water. Low metabolisms, economic in their energy expenditure. I learned that the oldest known Guri shark is 320, give or take 120 years. This puts my loss in perspective. We are a blur of life and death above the waterline. What was my father's own 63 years? What is my life? What is the span of our generations to a creature who lives in slow motion? I know time is relative. My therapist emphasizes the moment. Tonight, I pull the baby close, my nose pressed to her hair, lips against her warm skull, still forming and hardening. I breathe and she notices. A giggle. It tickles. I am sick of living with ice in my blood. I am ready to come back to time that, whether I like it or not, moves. And this last one is Last Time in the New House. The morning tasted of strawberries. A little train runs round a track. My father's ghost haunts the walls of this temporary home with love, benign but melancholy. By evening, the strawberries are overripe, soft balls of mush in my mouth that taste of rot. My child does not perceive the ghost, and her buoyant delight moves around the home like a tiny sun. Woo! Thank you. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Sarah M. Sala. Sarah is the author of 4 novels, each of them made of concrete and sunk in the East River.
Thank you all for being here. No billionaires are allowed to go see those novels, just the proletariat. But really, I'm so grateful to be part of Office Hours. I feel like every year it's the best year. It's the salad days. Both sides of our pillows are cool. So I hope that lasts forever because we need that. Okay, October tomatoes. After dropping the dog at the vet for a tooth extraction, some stone or bone, the unseen culprit, I gather a blush of tomatoes in my hands, plump marbles, hothouse gourds, glossy hips. Decipher their ripeness with a pinch of their buoyant skins. Zebras, bumblebees, lollipops, figs, varieties that conjure a nursery's wallpaper. Once sliced, I jettison their guts into a jar to scatter onto bare soil between the wildflowers. Next year, let's grow the tomatoes in the raised bed, my love says. I can't hear, I only taste sunlight on my tongue. Thank you. As we speak, night falls and the raccoons are coming for my raised bed, so F you, mother truckers. All right, this is called Migraine as High Desert. Migraine tendrils a galactic nausea, stained glass doom auras, strange compulsion for forbidden foods. Sun accelerates so bright, it radiates cicada song. Voices jostle like discarded horseshoes, junked in a parched arroyo. A phantom itch you cannot scratch deep inside the brain's meat. But the migraines bring ideas. In the Paleontology Museum, the children's book blunts inevitability. Humans are destined for extinction, as all groups are in the end. I miss my husband's mouth on mine, muscular engine roaring to life, migraine thoughts hot as lightning flashes in the desert, after image of the mesas. While we sleep, the pinyon pines inch closer to their ideal green. All right, teachers in the house. This poem is called Reasons I Did Not Grade Essays This Month. And it's not braggadocious, it just, it's hard to get motivated. Geeked out to a female astronaut describe the russet balloon moon craters. Attended a women's hockey game and chanted, wee woo, wee woo. Only then realized they're called the Sirens. I was tied up, picketing Linda Millions to combat wage suppression. Bro, honestly, couldn't bear to give an 89 instead of a 90. Booked a rental car with credit card miles and drove 2 days to Florida. I managed one, then the plumber arrived early to fix the coupling on the boiler pump. Apparently, the heat had just gone out. I slept in with my head nestled on my husband's chest. I walked my dog, I walked my dog, I walked my dog. Thank you to the Bureau, thank you to Ella, thank you to everybody on Zoom, in person, in the ether. Hopefully we'll all be here and we'll do this again in the spring. Yes, the fall. And now we go on hiatus.
You could end this want to say anything before?
Sure. All right, love y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye.
That was great.